guys, so welcome to the first Tax Live AMA session. So today we have Friedger from Friedger Pool. We also have Ken Liao, the founder of Secret Labs, and we have the Turkey leads, Omur and Ali, to talk about like what are the options if you don't have 80 types of stacks, for stacking. So yeah, I'll let Friedger take it away.
Yes, hello. Yeah, I'm Friedger, and I started running the Friedger Pool. It was kind of just right out of the missing options. So I didn't have enough stacks to stack my stacks solo. So I thought, what's possible, and started developing some smart contracts and to get everything running. And then finally, there was the Stacks wallet that supports delegating stacks. And then I thought, okay, now we can safely stacks or delegate stacks. And that's when I said, okay, we need a pool. So I created Friedger Pool, and yeah, now we're here.
Maybe Friedger, we would like to explain more about the Friedger Pool and the first cycle that you did, the previous stacking phase, and like how did the rewards look like?
Yeah, so at the moment, the rewards, the cycle 3 is about to finish. Using a pool means at first the users delegate stacks to the pool, and then the pool administrator does the stacking in the name of the users. So at first your stacks are delegated, and then your stacks are stacked and they are locked, so you cannot transfer them anymore. And the stacker, the pool admin has to decide for how long your stacks should be locked. So in the first cycle, Friedger Pool just locked for one cycle to see how everything goes. So I didn't want to lock everyone's stacks and no one is earning anything and so on. So that was kind of a precaution. Now we are at the end of the cycle 3, and nearly all the rewards are distributed. I think there are 2 more blocks to mine before all the rewards are distributed. And then the rewards are distributed in stacks. So this is really to reduce the load on the Bitcoin network, because the stacks protocol is designed that you reduce the number of transactions to the 4,000 or 2,000 transactions or 2,000 blocks in one cycle. And if we all come with our small stacking stacks, it creates lots of transactions that we don't want. So therefore, we're taking the rewards, bringing it to the Stacks blockchain, and distributing it over there. So after each cycle, Friedger Pool will distribute the rewards that we received. So for cycle 3, it's about 0.25 Bitcoins. So $40,000 at the moment, something like that.
Perfect, thank you, Friedger. And we have a lot of questions that actually the guys put in, and we slotted you in for like 7:15. I think before we began, Ken Liao, I'll probably pick at least like 2 or 3, and then we can leave it for like the last 30 minutes for open discussions. So my first question from the community is, so Friedrich speaks about a cooling cycle. What is that? How does that impact into the investment into his pool, and how long does that take? This is the first question from the community, Friedger.
Yeah, the cool down phase cycle is that something that happens after the locking. So if you lock for one cycle, there's one cycle cooldown. If you lock or if you stack, that's the same. For 6 cycles, then there's one cycle of cooldown. So that means over the year, the shorter you lock your tokens, the more cooldown cycles you have. So that's reducing your rewards indeed. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the question. And the next question from the community is, are there any best practices for stacking using Friedger's Pool?
I don't know whether I can answer that. We have, well, there are some considerations to do. So you have to think about for how long you want to lock your stacks. So if you say, at the moment, I'm fine, I don't want to move them, I don't want to use them, I can stack for longer. And with Friedger Pool, you have the possibility to stack for 1, 3, and 6 cycles without cooldown in between. There was an option to have 12 cycles as well. And I decided to not go with that anymore. So everyone who committed to 12 cycles, I will only lock it for 6 cycles. The reason for that is that we don't want to lock the tokens when we have the hard fork in August. So that's kind of an announcement, short notice, but I discussed a bit with the community, and I think it's safer for the users to not lock over this hard fork that will happen when 2.1 comes. So if you have delegated for 12 cycles at the moment, then you have you will lock for 6 cycles only. But for now, if you don't like it, you can still move to a different pool or do something else with your tokens. The other thing is Friedger Pool works together with Boom Wallet. So I think within the next few hours, we have a release of a new version of the Boom Wallet. So you have 2 options to delegate your stacks. One is with the Stacks wallet for desktop, where you can also use a hardware wallet. And the other option is with Boom Wallet, where you get an NFT that is kind of a future for your rewards. So whoever owns the NFT that you have received will get the rewards. So it's an NFT use case. So you can sell your rewards that you might get in the future earlier before you really have them. And then the new holder of the NFT will receive your rewards.
It's amazing news, Friedrich. Looks like we have our next topic for our next live AMA, which is the stacking NFTs of Boom Money. Okay, the last question for you before we end your session, and then please stay on so we can hold on for like the open discussion. And the last question is, how is security maintained in the community stacking pools?
At the moment, it is all about trusting the pool admin. Your stacks that you own, that you hold, they don't leave your wallet, so they are safe. That's part of the stacks protocol. The only part that is at risk, let's say, is the potential rewards that your stacks could earn. At the moment, there's no security that the admin of Friedger Pool will not run away with your rewards. We have to trust them, so you have to trust me. I do my best to not screw it up. And I'm working also on a more secure way that we have a smart contract that does all the stacking and the payout automatically or controlled by the user themselves.
Thank you so much, Friedrich. And guys, just to summarize after what this Friedrich discussed, so Boom just released their stacking NFT and feature, which is going to be released in a few hours. And then also, if you want to join, I'm so sorry, Godfred, I'm going to mute you. Okay, perfect. And also, if you want to join Friedrich's Pool, I'm going to include in the chat, pool.friedger.de. And Friedger, last one question, because for the community, cutoff time for Friedger Pool Cycle 4 stacking, when is it, the cutoff time?
Yeah, so I will start locking your tokens 200 blocks before the cycle starts. So that is within 24 hours. I will see how many transactions are still coming. And I will do the final cut at 50 blocks before the end. So for cycle 3, it was 1 block before the end, and I don't do it again.
Okay, perfect. No, one block. Okay, man. Thank you so much, Friedger. And then we're gonna have an open discussion towards the end of the pre-session. If you guys have any questions, because I see a lot in the chat now, we're gonna reserve it for later. But now let's move on to Ken Liao, who's the founder of Secret Labs. So he can give us another community pooling option for stacking, which is Xverse. Ken, would you like to take on now?
Sure, yeah. So as you all know, Secret Labs is building the Xverse mobile wallet. So we're also launching a pool for stacking. And the pool is similar to the Friedger Pool in that it is a delegated stacking pool, which means you are basically delegating the ability to stack to the pool, and your stacks tokens don't actually move. So the minimum stacks tokens that are required to join the Xverse stacking pool is 500 stacks, and the minimum cycle length is 2 cycles. So we're doing this because the one major difference from the Xverse pool and the Friedger pool, the Xverse pool pays out in Bitcoin. So in order to be able to fund the Bitcoin transactions, the minimum is going to be higher, and we require a longer cycle. So our payouts are also at the end of the cycle, and you'll receive them directly in your Xverse mobile wallet's Bitcoin wallet. Our goal is really to create a more seamless user experience with delegated stacking. So you're able to perform the entire delegating flow within the mobile wallet, and you can check your status right after you've delegated, and you don't have to go to another web page or anything like that. Yeah, and we're looking to launch the app, or make the app available on the Apple's test flight service and Google Play tomorrow. So just to give people some time to actually stack. Yep, I think that's about it.
It's pretty amazing, because my first question for you was, when are we expecting the Xverse in Android device? So I think you pretty much answered it, because you're releasing it tomorrow on Google Play. And let us know on how the community can help, because we're more than happy to amplify it. That's like right. the boom feature, because there's so much members in the Telegram community. Okay, I'm gonna move on to my next question then. For you, Ken, is there a way we can auto stack when cycle becomes open?
So currently you would have to stack again after the cycle ends. But in the future, we might have some kind of service that allows you to automatically stack, after that 1 cycle cooldown.
And another question from the community is, they're curious about the pool fees and if they are paid in actually BTC or stacks.
So the pool fees will be from the rewards. So currently the pool fees are 10% of rewards, which actually works out to, I think, 2% of the total, I believe. Yeah, so it's comparable or even less than a lot of the other staking or stacking services that we have right now.
Okay, another question from the community. So this is speaking from their experience. So I'm just gonna read it out loud. So he or she was saying, I stacked 71,000 for the last cycle and now it looks like I'm SOL for rewards. How can I best avoid this in the future?
Yeah, so I would say if you have, around the amount that qualifies for 1 stacking slot, which is 80,000 for the last cycle, I would suggest you use a pool service. So several reasons. One reason is that there's a 5% chance that your slot might be skipped due to what's called a flash block in Bitcoin, which is basically a series of really quick Bitcoin blocks, and the Stacks miners don't have time to commit to that block and send the Bitcoins to those addresses. So you have a small chance of getting missed. Now, you can drastically reduce this risk by joining a pool, because then you're sharing with other pool members. And then the other reason is that there's also variability in the rewards you get per slot. So if you join a pool, it again also is averaged out with other pool members. So you're more likely to have a expected percentage return versus just stacking by yourself.
Okay, thank you. And another question, and there's a lot of questions. So another question is how to concretely predict the threshold for the next cycle? Because I think this is like an ongoing problem. So you see a lot of the same questions popping out. So they were just asking, is there a way, you know, like, do we have a calculator for this?
So you can take a look at stacking, I think, .club for the current minimum. It's really difficult to predict what it will go to for the cycle, because as more and more people start stacking, the total amount of stack tokens that are locked up increases as well. So at this point, it's very difficult to predict. So I would recommend that if you don't have, you know, a ton of Stacks tokens and you want to stack, you should join a pool.
Okay, another question is it actually safe for stackers to stack in like, for example, 3 or 4 pools?
Yeah, I think so. As long as the pools are, you know, safe to work with, then it should be safe to do that.
Gotcha. Another question from the community is, are there minimum amounts part of the protocol or just a break-even calculation by pool maintainers?
Yeah, so for the Xverse pool, the amount is based on the fees. So if we want to pay out in Bitcoin, as you know, the Bitcoin transaction fees are pretty high. So if you stack less than, say, 500 Stacks tokens and you do it for, you know, 1 cycle, your yield is not going to be enough to even pay for the Bitcoin transaction fees. So you're not anything. That's why we have a minimum.
Perfect. And the last question that we have from the community to Xverse is, what does the roadmap look like for Xverse in the coming months? What can we expect, you know?
Yeah, so I think one thing you can expect is the stacking pool, which is coming out very soon. And we're also looking to support NFTs in the next short while. And then in the longer term, we want to basically support transaction signing and sign-in for mobile apps that are built on Stacks, as well as web apps. And basically to open up the ecosystem for other players, apps, pools, and everything else.
Well, thank you so much, Ken. And then there's tons of more questions from the community, but what I said to Friedger, we're going to leave it for like the open discussion session later. And now I would love to bring in our Turkey leads, Omur and Ali, to talk about their upcoming plan for the Stacks Turkey pool.
Hello there. Hi, guys.
Hello, man.
We are in progress right now. Actually, we have one developer who is working on the clarity contracts right now, because we don't want to be any compromise for the contract. So he's actually studying also. After that, we creating a deadline for the finish deadline. So we are kind of in a like deadlineception, or how can I give an example? I don't know. But we still have, I think, 1 cycle for the exact date when it will be ready, because there's too many details actually we didn't aware of before to go into pool. And probably we are going to ask help from sometimes Friedger about the documentation or something like that. Omur actually has a better knowledge than I do, because I'm not a like tech guy, so he can continue from here.
Hey guys, I'm Omur from Stacks Turkey chapter. I'm managing the Stacks Turkey community with my teammate Ali. First of all, we are currently working on our local pool with a blockchain developer. Our pool isn't active yet, and we need to understand the fundamental details on the contract for the pool. And security is our first priority, and security is key. We have to build a safe and sustainable pool. As Alice said, probably we need Friedger's help.
By the way, we got a really good domain name. It's stackingpool.com.
Oh, that's a good one. Congratulations for that. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So we have new people in the call. So I think we can pick somebody from the community who would love to explain what is stacking and what is the fuss all about to the new people that join in. And maybe I pick Betty. Betty, maybe you would like to explain what stacking is for our new joiners in the community. Okay, maybe Betty's a little bit busy. Ali, you should just explain it. I vote for you. Because we still have time before we start the open discussion. Would you like to explain stacking, Ali, or should I go for it?
Sorry, I didn't hear, Louise.
No, go for it.
I just got several messages from behind. So if Omur can continue, it will be better for me because I have some emergency from the back.
No worries about it. Yeah, no worries about it. So guys, I'm just gonna do it just to make it really quick. So for the new people that join in, stacking is the way that you can actually earn BTC by locking your SDX to actually enrich the network consensus and security. And cycle 4 is gonna begin in 2 days. So from the previous cycle, we actually have 21.4% APY, as Jude wants to call it. He wants to say it like average Satoshi yield. So your average Satoshi yield is 21.4%. And from the last cycle, we actually gave out 62.94 BTC to all the stackers. And that's pretty much it for our discussion. So I'm going to invite all the speakers for this AMA today again, because for our open discussion. Now is the floor for like the community. If you guys want to ask questions to Friedger, Ken, Ali, and Omur, please, just jump. This is like an open discussion now, so go for it.
Hello.
Yes, mate, go for it.
Yeah, I just want to know if stacks providers are planning some automated staking.
I can answer that a bit. It is, so if you say automated stacking, that means there is no pool admin in between that you need to trust, I reckon. There is a possibility to do as much as possible through a smart contract. So you can, as a user, you can decide for how long you would like to stack and which address you would like to use. And eventually this could be a DAO or something where the community is voting for the address where the rewards should go. And then there's a manual step of distributing the rewards. So currently it's not possible to send Bitcoins through a Clarity smart contract on the Stacks blockchain. Therefore, some kind of, either it's trust or it's prepayment. There is something that a person needs to do. My idea is that you would sell as a stacker, you would sell your Bitcoin rewards to the highest bidder, and you get your rewards immediately in stacks. So there would be no trust at all. You would get your rewards, and there's kind of a competition between the pool admins who is offering the most. So that's my idea how far we can automate this and remove all the trust.
Okay, next question.
Yeah, I've got a quick question, Philip here. So Friedger, I might have misunderstood, but you were speaking about the Stacks 2.1 upgrade, which will be a hard fork, and I think it would be around block 700,000, the Bitcoin block height. But you spoke about risks and stacking while that hard fork happens. What do you mean with the risks? And is there like a chance of losing your coins or something if you're still stacking while that hard fork happens? Or what do you specifically mean with that?
Yeah, I don't see an immediate risk, but I just want everyone to have the token freely available when the new version is coming out, or the fork is starting, because there will be changes to the mechanism how stacking works. Therefore, I think it's fair to say maybe don't lock over the hard fork, but it's up to you. So
right.
If there's hard or lots of demand for this, then I think that we can do that as well. At the moment, I don't want to do it for now.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, next question, guys.
Hey, I got a quick question for Friedger. Hey, Friedger. So, just in terms of like, so this is my first time ever stacking, and I'm going to use your pool for this next cycle. When I locked it in for 1 week, my two questions are: when I lock it in for 1 week, or one cycle, I should say, for 2 weeks, I have to wait another cycle for my rewards to, quote unquote, cool down. Does that mean that the rewards will not show up in my wallet for until the cooling cycle is done?
No, your rewards will be paid out at the end of the cycle that you stacked for. But the cooldown cycle means you cannot stack for the next immediate cycle. So if you have stacked for cycle 3, you get your rewards within the next 24 hours, I would say. But you cannot restack for cycle 4.
Okay, got it. Understood.
Yeah.
Got it. My other question was, how can we as a community, especially people who are in your pool, support you, whether it's social media or engineering or YouTube? What are like some aspects that you feel like, man, I really wish I had some support here?
I think the most important thing is customer support. So try to answer all the questions that everyone has. Maybe also compile a frequent asked questions. So there is Stacks 1.101, stacks101.com. And I think we should put all the questions in that domain. It's run by Jason, and that's really good source to send users there if they're new to stacking. Well, the other thing is to discuss with us what you want, what we can do. There's a GitHub repo where you also can contribute if you want to do engineering work, some coding. One part is stacking.club. It's open source, and we can improve how pools are displayed there. And the other one are tools how to run a pool. So improve the scripts that do the payout or that do the delegation and so on.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, next question, guys. I do feel like we should take a break, because if we're going to take a break and you guys are still formulating your question and trying to understand what's all the conversation that's been going on, I would love to pull in Dan Trevino in the conversation, if he's still here, for like his plugin with Boom and what they're releasing tonight. I mean, yeah, probably also this today. Are you in the call? Yeah, Dan is in the call.
Hey,
Thanks, Louise. I don't know what Friedger already mentioned, if anything.
Yeah, but like if you can actually expound it more on what's happening for Boom today.
Well, again, sorry, so I missed Friedger's whole spiel, so I'm not sure what he exactly said. But essentially, we're launching the ability to stack via NFTs, and so you'll be able to lock stack tokens. With an NFT, you'll be assigned an NFT when the stacks are locked, and the owner of the NFT then will get the rewards at payout time. Now we're doing kind of our own cycle. I don't know, Friedger, if you talked about that at all, but we're doing a 4-week cycle so that we can kind of distribute some of the complexity and risk across that time frame. But what's really cool is this kind of allows a secondary market for stacking rewards. You'll be able to transfer NFTs, give them as gifts, sell them, do all this other really cool stuff around that. And we're at really kind of level 0 right now, and what we can enable and what we're kind of going to make available. So look for more in this space later. But for right now, we're just kind of getting a basic implementation out there. But it's really exciting.
I'm pretty excited. I mean, we're all pretty excited about it. Okay, guys, any more questions from you for Ken, for Friedger, for Dan, for Omur and Ali? And go for it. We still have 20 more minutes left. Or do you feel like everything has been answered already?
I had a question for the panel. Congratulations, everybody, as well, getting everything off the ground so far. It's amazing work, amazing to see everybody be able to accomplish this so quickly, it seems. You know, everybody's been involved for a long time, but this is very powerful work in a lot of ways. And one of the most powerful things about all of this is that, you know, there's no barrier to entry for any of us following, you know, your guys' pioneering leads. And you know, I just wanted to get a feel from you guys. You know, what are, if you guys could give us a prioritized list of things needed for anybody here to start their own pools. What would that list look like? You know.
Anybody would love to jump in and answer the question? I think Friedger typed something in the chat for Harold.
Yeah, so I wrote a more or less high-level technical overview, if that's possible at all, what you need to do to run a pool. But basically, it is that you create a stacks address, and you publish it, and then the users can pick it up and trust you that you deal with their rewards properly. They delegate to your address. You as a pool admin, you don't have to do anything. And once you decide, okay, now it's time to cut off and get all the delegated stacks and put them in the locking status, that's a script that you can run. You have to get all the transactions from the POX contract. So there's a script that can help you to do this all. And then you say, okay, now for this cycle, I want to participate. So there's a bit of timing risk. You want to get as many people into your pool, but you don't want to miss a deadline. So there's 1 or 2 days, really a bit of sweating and hoping that everything went well. And then when the rewards when you receive the rewards, then you have to do the payout. Also, it depends how you distribute it. If you do Bitcoin transactions, you have to maybe also automate this a bit, use an API, how you can do good transactions on Bitcoin, or you use just a smart contract on the Stacks blockchain. There's a send many contract where you just put in all the recipients and the amounts. that's a bit of a manual process, but we have to see how this evolves and what is the need, and we can improve the tooling for that as well.
I have a question about running a pool. I understand the power. Is it okay if I ask a question?
No, go for it, mate. Go for it. We still have time. Go for it.
So I understand there's power in numbers. I understand there's power in the aggregation. It's also not bad to have sort of an accountant doing the distribution of rewards in whatever form. What I'm trying to get to is there such a thing as so-called alpha behavior that makes you as a pool runner better, in a merit-based manner than other pools?
Well, you as a pool runner, you define the rules, how the pool works. So you can say, I want to pay out in stacks. I want to pay out in Bitcoins. I use this exchange mechanism. I have this locking periods. And I think there's space for enough pools. Maybe I have customer support in the native language of your community. So that I can only speak 1 or 2 languages. So I'm out there if we go for the Turkish community, and I'm happy to help them to get this established. And there are lots of opportunities for other languages, for other communities. So I think there's a bit of knowledge that you need to know, but I think that's publicly available, and there is not really anything that's magic or secret sauce that makes you different.
Yeah, I was thinking, this reminds me kind of like running an AngelList syndicate, where the alpha has a lot to do with the choices you make, and I was trying to either see if it was similar or there's a much brighter line. But I got a lot out of what you just explained as the answer is kind of rule-making process and other things. So thank you.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do about the rewards. So you get the reward that the miner sent you, and the miners don't know who they sent the rewards to because it's randomized. You can't even make a deal, say, oh, if you send me more, I send you something back, or that's not possible because it's randomized. You don't know when it's happened.
Well, how about this though? You could play this, I'm going to call it a game. It's not a game, where if rewards go well and that leads to, let's say, a longer duration of commitment, couldn't you upscale out payments to the pool participants in exchange for more committed behaviors they agree to in your pool?
Yeah, one possibility would be, okay, I pay out up to 20% and the rest I keep, and this is an incentive for the users to stay in my pool. That would be possible.
Right. Yeah, it's more, it reminds it like almost like a hedge fund 2 and 20.
Maybe, yeah, something like that.
Ish. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, guys, we have 15 minutes more. Any more questions from the community?
Yeah, Louise.
Go for it, mate.
Yeah, but I want to ask a question. We already know that staking proof of transfer protocol is a very sophisticated protocol. So as we are here, only OKCoin exchange are supporting the staking consensus from stacks, and we don't know yet if other crypto exchanges like Binance, OKX, and other crypto exchanges will be list stacks token will participate to the staking consensus. So I want to ask Friedger or Ken how they will plan to do if some big exchanges of crypto comes in staking consensus.
Would you like to answer that, Ken?
Yeah, I just want to know if some big crypto exchange like Binance, OKX, or KuCoin come in staking consensus, how the staking providers like Friedger or can plan to do it with them, because as they have many users, will they, I don't know how to say, but will Friedger, how do Friedger think to do it when a big exchange come in the proof of transfer protocol by staking staking consensus?
Yeah. Okay. So my idea would be that these exchanges would do the stacking themselves. So they have enough users and enough stacks, so they can stack by themselves and handle this, because they also have your own stacks token. They don't have to give them out. There are other possibilities as well, that if it's locked, you could get kind of a future of your stacks. So they have some possibilities to do stacking and to also accommodate their users. But for the users that don't want to use a custodial service, I think this pool will still be around, and they have a good place to be. Is it an answer to your question?
Yeah, I can say I understand what you say. It's good.
What about you, Ken? Do you have any opinions on it?
Yeah, so basically, he gave a pretty good answer there. If it's up to you whether or not you want to have custody of your coins or you want to trust it to an exchange. Now, most of the exchanges are pretty safe, right? But you never know, if something happens to one of the exchanges, a hack or something could result in the loss of your funds, right? So it's really a personal choice. And I think there'll always be people that will, especially in the crypto community, opt to have their own custody of their coins while stacking and not trust a third party. And additionally, as you can see now, the exchanges, their fees are actually much higher than if you're going with a pool, because they advertise that they charge a 10% service fee, but the yields are actually much lower than you would get if you stacked individually. They're in the range of like 10% or something like that, whereas you would get close to 20% if you're with the pool. Now, charging the same 10% fee, you're paying much less if you go with the pool.
Yeah, I think this answer is a very great answer, because not your keys, not your coins.
True.
Yeah, so that's really give me strong faith in OKCoin. I mean, Ken wallet, and Xverse wallet, excuse me, and Friedger Pool. So thank you.
Thank you for the question, Godfred. Steve, you raised your hand. Would you like to ask a question for the panel today?
Yeah, can everybody hear me?
Yes, mate, go for it.
Great. Yeah, really appreciate you guys doing this. Sorry, it's first thing in the morning for me on the other side of the world. I'm just getting started out on the whole crypto journey for myself, and stacking is super interesting to me, but I admit I don't quite understand everything about it. And so I thought I would kind of use this opportunity to ask, what are some of the considerations I should be thinking about when picking a pool? So obviously we've talked a lot about there's the minimum keeps changing, or it can be kind of hard to predict. So pooling's a great option. But when trying to pick the pool that you want to use, obviously there's some stuff on the Stacks website just regarding it's custodial or it's non-custodial. It's they've got a service fee or they don't have a service fee. but what are some of the other things that are just not on the website that you really want to be thinking about when you're picking someone? I guess kind of coming from a more traditional background, what I think about is security, right? So it's almost like you feel better if you're going with, say, like an OK coin, because there's more skin in the game. They really don't want to just fold as a company. But I think that's kind of maybe an outdated way of thinking about it. And I thought I'd kind of ask the people that are really in the know, what should I be thinking about?
I can give a quick answer. I think one of the things that you want to consider is custody, of course, right? So if you want to keep your own coins, then you should probably choose a pool. And also, how much work do you want to, put into stacking, right? Because if you go with an exchange, they are doing something in the back where they're stacking for you, and you don't have to say like check back every cycle and restack, or check back every 2 cycles. Most likely they'll handle that for you. If you're the type of person that just want to, leave your coins there and, let it go and forget about it, I would say you should maybe go with an exchange. But if you want to maximize your yield and have custody of the coins yourself, I think you should probably choose a pool.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I kind of keened in on that when you first mentioned it, when you were just speaking before. I guess the thing that I probably don't understand then, so I understand the concept of custody, but why does custody kind of relate to your yield? Is it just because you're simply more actively involved in whether or not you're in this cycle or the next cycle, or is there something that I'm missing?
So I don't have all the information on how exchanges operate, but I assume they are charging you basically an extra fee on your yields in order to take care of the complexity of stacking for you. There's no technical reason why stacking by yourself is more profitable. I think it's just the business model for exchanges.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I can see someone just put in their convenience fee. Perfect. Guys, really appreciate the valuable insight. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I wanted to add one thing about automatic cycle, doing next cycles. So there's a cooldown fee and that does not change. But if you say, I want to stay with one pool provider for now, you can just say, okay, I give the right to use my stacks up to 10,000 stacks, let's say. And then whenever the cycle finish or the locking period finish, the cooldown cycle is over, the pool admin can take the stacks back again and continue stacking for you without interaction from you. That's possible. Some pools can say, oh, I only want to use this amount of locking cycles, and thereafter you have to come back. Others can say, as long as you stay with me, I will continue stacking for you. So that's also something to consider when you choose the pool.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, and Friedrich, you're actually raising your hand. Would you love to ask a question for the guys?
Yes, thank you. I have a question, but first I kind of wanted to address maybe the question that was asked previously, just maybe give my opinion on it. I come from kind of like a traditional finance background. And so I'm new to stacking, but from what I'm seeing in terms of trying to determine if you want to do like a private group, a private pool versus in terms of custodialship, having your own, being your own custodian versus using the exchange, it seems to me that it's similar between having like your own investment group with some friends and being able to have full control over, how that stacking, where that stacking, those stacks are being directed to. And then with the exchange, like I believe Friedger was saying, you kind of have like the the inherent security of the exchange being a large organization with skin in the game, but you kind of lose the ability to have people maybe in your local area or something, and you guys being able to meet up and talk about how the pool is directing stacks. But my question was actually about the cooldown period, and if that is mandatory or if that is something that is kind of built in to try to reduce people just keep doubling their stacking and like concentrating the amount of stacks that are in a given pool.
Yeah, I can answer that if you want. It's part of the protocol. And the reason we don't really know, let's say, it could be that it just happened without real planning. But if you look at it, it gives a kind of incentive to log for longer periods. And that would increase the liveness of the blockchain. So, but there's nothing we can do about it. It's part of the protocol and that's it.
Wonderful, thank you. I
think part of the original reason, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I figured that like just from kind of having a basic understanding, it seems like if there's a certain amount that the pools are capped at, then you want to prevent like one person from just maintaining being able to just take their rewards and dump it right back in and just be like one of the main participators of the pool. I guess it's kind of like maybe an incentive to allow new pool members.
No, but this cooldown cycle also applies to solo stackers. So if you don't join a pool, you still have the cooldown phase. So it's how the locking, after the locking period, if it's one cycle or 6 cycles, it does not matter. After the locking period, there's one cycle that you cannot stack again. But Ken wanted to say about the original idea.
So I think part of the reason for this cooldown cycle is to incentivize people to stack for long periods of time. So if you stack for 6 cycles every time, and you have one cooldown cycle, your downtime basically 1 out of 7, right? Whereas if you only stack for 1 cycle each time, you're basically only stacking half the time. Your rewards will also be halved.
Well, thank you so much for that, Ken and Friedger. And I think we have like less than a minute for this session. Just a reminder, guys, we also have a Telegram live AMA tomorrow with the same panel. So if you still want to get your head wrap around stacking and all the possibility of community stacking pools, such as like Friedger's, Xverse, and the upcoming Turkish community pool, don't forget to join the Telegram AMA tomorrow at 1 p.m. CET. I would also love to plug in the Intro to Stacks brand design this Friday with Eugenia. If you're building around stacks, and you want to get your designs up to the to the next level, don't forget to please attend the session on Friday. And thank you so much for attending this live AMA session. And that's pretty much it for today. And don't forget to stack your sets with stacks. Yeah, I think I got it right. So that's pretty much it, guys. And thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ken.